So my very first one is probably the one that I was going to leave off the list. And it's called The Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. And I don't even know if you've read this book.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, so it was going to get left off my list because it is very challenging. And I say challenging as is it really challenges. It's a little bit controversial. So it is a channeled. So this gentleman, Gary, he basically was visited by angels or guides. And it came very out of the blue. And this is kind of his recount over years of them visiting him and kind of explaining to him the universe, or I guess the illusion. So this book was really my first. So I picked up this book. I was going through the worst part of my life. I had depression, severe anxiety, was struggling so much. And I started working with crystals and things like that. And I went into this really alternative shop, and this very interesting gentleman started talking to me, and he recommended this book. And I was like, okay. And so when I started reading it, and I have to say, one thing I want to say, and I'm sure you will totally agree with me, Lauren, is that I do not agree 1,000% or 100% or even 90% with everything that's written in these books. So when I read a book, yes. So we didn't write these books. This is not 1,000% our views. And so this book here was one of those ones that challenged me in a way that I was like, no. And then I've read it a couple of times and I've taken more and more out of it. But this book really woke me up to a lot of things that I felt about. So it kind of goes into the ego. It goes into the illusion of us creating everything. It goes into religion and how religion is used, manipulated, changed from, events that happened. So it's not completely, devoiding religions or anything like that. But it really brought around a whole heap of points that I had kind of felt about or noticed about, well, religions having so many different, icons, yet the foundation of most religions was the same. If you look at the core of what a lot of religions were. So, but this was really, so this book actually, kind of leads off into A Course in Miracles. I don't know if you've heard of that book either.
Oh, yeah, I have that book.
So I haven't got A Course in Miracles on my list, but this was kind of like a leap into that whole world. And if you have not read A Course in Miracles, or you haven't even heard of it, a lot of the authors that we're going to speak about today do credit A Course in Miracles. And it's really about understanding your mind, controlling the ego, understanding how our thoughts affect the world around us, how we're attracting everything into us, and how we are able to create miracles in our lives. And it's a 365-day course. It's like a page a day or a concept a day. And so this book really kind of brings a lot of those concepts in, and it's spoken about a lot in this. It's written in a very, very interesting way, because a lot of it is like dialogue between him and these guides, and them, downloading information, I guess, to him, or explaining the universe and the concept of why we're here. So I highly recommend it, but do know that you are going to be challenged by it. And it is a thick book. So make sure you've got, I think it took me months to get through this, but it really woke me up. Like, it really just changed the way I thought about things. It was I feel like it was the very first time I even grasped the concept of the ego. I hadn't even really thought about that as a thing. I just thought the ego was, oh, I look really nice today. And
Right.
not that